Shalom. First off, I want to start up by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKadosh. That's all praises to the world calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem meaning in the name of Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the hopeful like preaching word and truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Tazabah, the Great Millstone Arizona camp. Well, with another video to edify, and I wanted to go on this video, right? It says, warning, is Europe close to being conquered? And really what he's getting at is the fact that Edomite Christianity as a whole is on a decline. Is on a stiff downward turn, because the Lord has pushed this truth out to where the whole world is rejecting this unbalanced doctrine of love, love, love. And what that doctrine has pushed throughout the world has been compromised sexuality, a blending of genders, right? A blurring of what a man and a woman is, and all out disorder. I mean, look at how the women act. And somehow these women are supposed to be the image of how you say it, the spirit. Really, that's what these women have been propped up to be, the ones that hold the household together through faith. And these women are faithless. Their deeds show that they're faithless, and the whole world is looking at it. I was watching a video by the elder Yashawamba. He was talking about how all these, male Christians are now choosing to go in a more masculine religion, when originally the Bible is extremely masculine. So the Christian church has failed that, and now, the spirit is moving where that thing's starting to fall, and Israel's really coming up, right? So let me get into this.
They're going to love it, and everything's going to change. They've been like this for almost 2,000 years. Yeah, they're going to change on a dime. Across Europe, churches are closing in droves. They're being converted into gyms, restaurants, hotels, and nightclubs. Well, there's no definite account or definitive account on the number of mosques that open, closing in droves. They're being converted into gyms, restaurants, hotels, and nightclubs.
You see? So all these churches are shutting down and being converted into all this other stuff, right? Because the Lord was never in those places, and the truth is really here. Truth has sprung up, like the scriptures say. Let's get that. Second Ezra 7:44, it says, I'll start at 43. It says, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past, and temperance is at an end, and fidelity is cut off, right? That unbelief is cut off. Righteousness is grown up, and righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. You see? So truth is sprung up right now to where the ones that lie, so-called white men, his stuff is finally being looked at with the scrutiny that it deserved. And people are noticing inconsistencies in what he tries to act like he pushes, the virtue he has, and what's actually said in the book. So they're walking away, and especially because the true message is out here, and nobody can refute what bro's been preaching in the spirit. The scriptures tell you, what is it? This is Luke 21:15. It says, for I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And that's what's happened. The Lord has given us the mouth of wisdom that our adversaries can't gainsay nor resist. So what do? They just throw out the baby with the bathwater because they know that if it's the way we read in these scriptures, all the multiple scriptures we come with to come to one conclusion is strictly against them. They understand that their chance is slim to none, and they don't want to work out their salvation with fear and trembling. They just wanted it easy. But what we bring out the straight path, the straight and difficult things where you're going to have to actually make some change. And that's where this world has an issue. Now, to go on the issue of all these churches closing and all these people no longer going to these churches, this is Acts 5:38. And it says, and now I say, I'll start at 35. It says, and said unto them, ye men of Israel, take heed to yourselves. What ye intend to do is touching these men. For before these days rose up Theudas, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all, as many obeyed him, were scattered and brought to naught. After this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of taxing, and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as in all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed. Now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. And that's the point. If what we were saying in our counsel were of men, it would come to naught. Remember, you had this dude Vocab Malone sitting there saying that people are coming in under the name of being Israelites in droves, and they're converting from the Christian church directly into knowing the knowledge that they're Israelites. So this thing, what we're doing is growing, and the so-called Christian church is closing down, and their numbers are dwindling. Right? Whose thing is coming to naught? That's what's got to be. That's the real thing that has to be brought into question. Whose thing is coming to naught? Because it's not what we're doing. But if it be of the Most High, you cannot overthrow it. At least happily you be found to fight. At least happily you be found even to fight against the Most High, and that's what this world is seeing. They're fighting against. They're kicking against the pricks. They're fighting against the Lord. This isn't a battle where you can just change up the scriptures or based on your feelings. No, we're going to bring out the scriptures and the precepts to prove all things like the scriptures say. And these Christians see that what they say they believe in doesn't match up with what's written. And we actually know what's written like the scriptures say. This is John 4:22. It says, ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. You see, we know exactly what we're speaking about. We know the power that we serve. The world didn't. Right? This is Matthew 13. In 31, it says, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field. And that's what you're seeing, that we were that grain of mustard seed. Even Vocab, when he recounts the history of the Israelites in Babylon the Great, he sits there and say they started off as a small school in Brooklyn, New York, right? And now we're this thing that's global, all over the world, right? That was that mustard seed. It says, which indeed is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. And that's where we're at. Jake all over this world is coming to the knowledge of who they are, and they're coming and lodging under the shadow of the Almighty. Isaiah 25 and 7. It says, and it says, and when will you? It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast, because that's what Christianity has been. It's been a covering cast. It's been something to cover, right? And what have they done with that cover? They weaken the image and the character of the Lord to where he just accepts every goddamn thing. That's not what the Lord was, man. The Lord wasn't just some get along to be alone. The Lord was an austere man. He knew what he wanted. He wanted out of the people. And Jake, and really the world refused that. So then they made up their own. Well, back in verse 7, it says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast as of the covering cast over all people, the veil that is spread over all nations. And Christianity has been a big part of that covering cast. And the Lord is destroying it. And it started off with the Israelites bringing out the true understanding of these scriptures. And what you got to understand is now that these Christians are really taking notice that the Israelites are the ones that are really gung-ho and preaching for this word and really believing, they're getting ready to sit here and cue bros up, right? They're getting ready to label and accuse, and you got to understand that, man. Let me get this one first. This is Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. It says, the thing that had been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. So what happened when you go to the book of Matthew, when it was seen really that the Israelites were this real powerhouse in the spirit, and they really believed. Matthew 24 and 4, it says, Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, that's not what I wanted. Acts 24. And in 5, it says, we have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ring leader of the sect of the Nazarenes, right? And that's what they're going to do to us. They look at us like, hey, well, they're the ones messing up this cohesion that we used to have. They're the ones preaching this message that's against, everybody just going along, getting along. Now they want to tell the world that they're the chosen, right? Now you have a rift between families, and they're going to sit here and label the Israelites as the reason why people no longer mess with the Bible and what's wrong with America. They're getting ready to put up that accusation. Who also hath gone about to profane the temple, whom we took and would have judged according to our law. And that's they're going to sit here and, like the scriptures say, the day cometh where they which slay thee shall think that they do the Most High service. Right? This is Acts 19 and 24. Start at 23. It says, in the same time rose up no small stir about the way. It says, for a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana. And these churches are basically the new form of the silver shrines towards Diana, the queen of heaven, because that's what they preach in them churches, queen of heaven worship. They put the woman on a pedestal, have her preaching, even though the scriptures go against it. She got all the say so in the church. She's supposed to be the glue towards the religious family, right? It says brought no small gain unto the craftsmen, and that's what's happening. They've been able to bring gain to themselves by contorting the scriptures, preaching this whole inclusion message, this universalism, and really softening up the scriptures in the spirit of the Lord. It says, whom he called together with the workmen of like occupation and said, sirs, you know that by this craft we have our wealth, right? So mind you me, man, these church pastors, man, they're having meetings just like this, where they're sitting there saying, hey, these Israelites, these niggas is an issue. They fucking up the money. They ain't got as many people coming in. And then when we find out what they left for, they now they Israelites. It says, moreover, ye see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but also throughout all Asia, this Paul had persuaded and turned away much people, saying that they be no gods which are made with hands. And this is what we've been doing. We've been telling people the Lord ain't in those churches, right? We've gone through the scriptures at nauseum, showing you that no, the Lord was not a so-called white man. He was a so-called Negro. Nah, the Lord isn't down with Moism and any of that. The Lord ain't worried about your pockets like that. Your pastor's preaching this prosperity doctrine. Well, the scriptures tell you that when you come to the Lord, you got to prepare yourself for temptation, for suffering. So we come with a whole message that's against them and persuading many to turn to the Lord. It says, verse 27, so that not only this, our craft is in danger to be set at naught. And that's what's happening. That craft of Christianity is being set at naught. But Israelites are being prompted up. Jake is more and more coming into this thing and knowing what it is, man. There's more and more artists making songs to where they're literally throwing their little bits and pieces showing you that they are listening. Right? But ain't nobody really throwing up none of that for Christian churches no more. That's just through. It says, but also the temple of the greatest God, but the temple of the great God, goddess Diana, should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia in the world worshipeth. And when they heard these things, they were full of wrath and cried out, saying, great is Diana of the Ephesians. And that's what you see in these Christians, man. They just coming on comment boards, running their mouth. They being wild, man. Right, real bold. With nothing to stand on. It says, and the whole city was filled with confusion, having caught Gaius and Aristarchus, men of Macedonia, Paul's companions in travel. They rushed with one accord into the theater, and when Paul would have entered in unto the people, the disciples suffered him not. And this is what happened, man. So expect a slander. Expect a lot of these Christians to really start coming hard body soon, man, because we're getting ready to come in that time where we're going to have to sit here and suffer the accusations, the accusers. But the Lord is always going to provide a way out, man. But Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to say, call halal, Yah, Bashim, Shai, Bashim, Shalom.